Alright, peace, 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 beautiful soul, and yeah, welcome. This is going to be your reading, you know what I'm saying? I got you. And so let's definitely jump into it. As I was looking at your chart, there are a couple things I noticed. I think the first thing I want to talk about is your greatest modality, you know what I'm saying? And looking at your chart, I would say that you're balanced between the modalities. And so the modalities are just speaking upon, the cardinal energies, the fixed energies, and the mutable energies, you know what I'm saying? Here, let me turn this down just a little bit. Alright, for sure, that's good enough. So, according to this chart that I have in front of me, you have 7 placements in mutable signs, you know what I'm saying? You got your Sun, your Venus, and you also have Uranus and Pluto. Alongside you have Chiron, Lilith, just Chiron, Pluto, so on and so forth. Okay, so what this essentially would indicate is that you are a very adaptable and changeable person, someone who kind of knows how to move with the flow and adapt and change as life, presents itself to you. I like to think of the mutable signs as like the shapeshifters, you know what I'm saying? I myself am very mutable in the sense that it's like no matter what life throws at us, we kind of know how to adapt to it, you know what I'm saying? And so for you, Earth, yes, Earth. So you have a fairly balanced chart, except for the fact that you don't have many fire placements. You only have 2 placements in fire, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so let me just push that to the side, the modalities. That's like your mutable energies, you know what I'm saying? So your Sun is an immutable placement, which just indicates that your way of seeing things, because the Sun, alongside Mercury, you know what I'm saying, deals with perception and deals with one's viewpoint on life and how one desires to apply their willpower, but in correlation to what their interests and things like that are. And so for you, which you're having the Sun in Virgo in the 12th house, this would mean, okay, you don't have your ascendant in Libra. And the thing about ascendant Libra, it's such a detriment because it's a backward type of energy, you know what I'm saying, which kind of creates this life of like upside downness, you know what I'm saying, where things feel like they're backwards or they're upside down. And you don't per se have your ascendant in Libra, but you have your ascendant 25 degrees, meaning that it's 5 degrees away from being in Libra. So if you were born like minutes later, you would incarnate with the Libra rising. Now the thing is, you have 5 degrees of your ascendant in the sign Virgo, but then 25 degrees, the rest of that energy of your first house is in Libra energy. So you still experience those Libran energies, but it's just dormant. Like that's kind of what it means when a person has like a couple stars in one sign with a majority of stars in the other, but we consider the cusp sign more important. What a cusp sign, if you don't know, a cusp sign is just the sign that initiates or brings the energies of that house, you know what I'm saying? So in this case, being a 25, it's actually 26. Being a 26 degree Virgo, it means that the Sun was ascending on the eastern horizon within the Virgo constellation. So you're a Virgo rising. But nevertheless, a good amount of energy is within the Libra energy for you. So the way that this is typically interpreted is you are a Virgo, where your personal life energies, where your personal life energies are concerned, but you have dormant energies that are going to slowly but surely progress in correlation to your personal life that deal with Libra energies. So, yeah. So, to kind of talk a little bit about that energy, because I feel like this is important. And before I go deeper into it, I want to let you know that it's only a very recent understanding that to be spiritually blessed means to be materially blessed, you know what I'm saying? Even though, of course, material blessings are a beautiful thing, but typically in the ancient texts, you know what I'm saying, like the esoteric texts, occult text, is known as a detriment to like be born with, as it's reference, right? The nipple of like the material world for you to suckle upon, you know what I'm saying? Meaning being born with a silver spoon, or this or the third or the fourth, can be a detriment, because spiritually you're not being challenged to grow and expand, but instead you're given this comfort and security, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like you don't feel the necessity or the need to look beyond what you have in front of you, because that's already so good. So I bring that up because you have a couple of interesting energies in your chart, you know, which can interpretate to strife or struggle, you know what I'm saying? Like you have your moon in Aries, but it's in the 7th house. With you having your moon in Aries within the 7th house, it's kind of an indication of going through hardships, and because, you know, Aries is the sign that's ruled by Mars. So it's an indication of going through hardships and trials and tribulations, where specifically strife, though, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to say trial and tribulation, even though it can feel that way. Ooh, the chimes. I think these are chimes. As you may know, I like to synchronize the music I'm playing with the reading I'm doing, and the chimes are perfect because, you know, the chimes are like instruments that deal with the spiritual plane, which you have your sun in the 12th house, you know, and the 12th house is the house of spiritual energies. But as I was saying, though, with moon being in Aries in the 7th house, like these are very interesting energies to interpret, because Aries is the sign of the self, the me, the I, you know what I'm saying? But then the 7th house is the house of relationships, partnerships, it's the house of marriage and things like that, you know what I'm saying? So when the moon goes into Aries in the 7th house, it can, one of the ways it can play out is like this devotion of energy to, whether that be your mother or just some sort of mother figure, where it's like you may have to find yourself like sacrificing yourself and giving yourself, and this can play out through other relationship energies as well, you know what I'm saying? But I want to talk about it through the motherly energy, because it's the moon, where it's like you may find yourself, and then you also have your sun in the 12th house, you know what I'm saying, in Virgo, right? Which kind of adds more to this energy of like finding yourself being binded to someone, and maybe having to take care of somebody, to the point where it's like because, you know, the moon is like how you nurture and take care of, and like the moon deals with people that can't take care of themselves, you know what I'm saying? The moon deals with like older people, or it also deals with children, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, so Aries is the sign of the I am, the me, the self, you know what I'm saying? The ego, it deals with egotistical things, you know, and a lot of people talk about ego being negative, but we all have egos, and we all need these egos, you know what I'm saying? And this is just a little thought that I've been pondering upon. So I don't know if you're into like watching TV or anything like that, but I was watching TV, and like FX, Fox, have this new show called Universal Basic God, and I was like, that's so messed up, because what they are doing is they're stealing from us, you know what I'm saying? Because your greatest attribute and quality that you can truly possess in this lifetime is a solid character, you know what I'm saying? Because when you get out of this life, like this energy, out of this flesh suit, the only thing that's remaining is the energy patterns that you know, instilled and created within yourself as you were living. And so they're giving us these ideologies of like being a very basic person, like, and they're giving us concepts of what we should be, and these energies are fruitless, you know what I'm saying? The templates and the archetypes that they're giving us are very fruitless and very detrimental to our souls. But yeah, I bring that up to bring up and sort of do a 360 on the fact that the ego is actually a very valuable and important thing, you know what I'm saying? Now, you may somewhat disagree with this, the energy of ego, because you have like, you know, your sun in the 12th house, and when the sun goes into the 12th house, this is a house of transcendence. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, transcendence, you know what I'm saying? transcending the energy and the idea of self and embracing the collective. You know what I'm saying? It's a very sacrificial energy. Think of the 12th house energy, you also want to think of the Pisces energy, right? You know what I'm saying? And the thing about Pisces is it's very associated with Jesus, you know what I'm saying? And so the allegory of Jesus, you know what I'm saying, the metaphor of Jesus, you know what I'm saying, is all about the energy of Pisces. So like self-sacrifice, being one that's all about like the neighborhood, not the neighborhood, but like being neighborly, you know what I'm saying? Jesus was known for saying, do unto your, you know what I'm trying to say. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. You know what I'm saying? It's a very caring, very selfless energy. And so, like your sun being in the 12th house, and especially being in Virgo, very amplifies this energy where it's like you are like a servant and you're here to serve to the detriment where it may feel like outside of giving service to others, you truly don't have a life for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because I also say this the 12th house is the house that can deal with like imprisonment, you know what I'm saying, feeling like entrapped, feeling stuck. And the thing with that is, a lot of people need to understand that the 12th house is a feminine house, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are feminine houses and there are masculine houses. And the way I like to, as there are feminine signs and masculine signs. The feminine signs are magnetic. They draw and attract to themselves things. They're more inclined towards being submissive to the flows of life, you know what I'm saying? Whereas the masculine signs, they're the ones that are assertive, the ones that desire to assert themselves and take control of their destiny, you know what I'm saying? And so when the sun is in the 12th house, this is like actions, taking and acting on things, like taking action on things that may lead to greater self-imprisonment, you know what I'm saying? And like, whether that be ways of thinking or whether that be ways of thinking or just, I don't want to say thinking because that's more Mercury. The sun is more like ways of showing the things you show interest in, the way that you decide to apply your willpower, you know what I'm saying? And the identity that you not only strive for, but that you're okay with people's like seeing you. Like, I'll say strive for, it's like the identity that you strive for, and that you desire other people to see you in, you know what I'm saying? That's all like the sun energy. Now, when the sun goes into the 12th house, this is a house of unconscious energies, you know what I'm saying? Which can essentially mean that you are most definitely a person who would rather be behind the scenes, rather than in the forefront, you know what I'm saying? But not only that, like, that just may have been your experience growing up, even feeling like I'm not seen, you know what I'm saying? But okay, that's like the sun in the 12th house, right? Like, not feeling like you're not seen, feeling like you're invisible one way or another, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe being the, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll leave it at that. But then, sorry, I kind of sidetracked. Yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna say. Like, cause with you having your moon in the 7th house, it's an indication of like having found where you can be seen, being in the plane that deals with partnerships and relationships. So there may be an energy manifested here that you may need to deal with that is like an energy of who am I outside of my relationships and outside of outside of my relationships and things like that. The moon in the 7th house energy, it's literally that, you know what I'm saying, to the point where it's like, and then especially with the 12th house, because it's a house of sacrifice, you need to be careful on not being way too self-sacrificial for others, you know what I'm saying, to the point where you lose yourself and you lose who you are. But it's important that you start to learn to create a character and identity that is valuable, you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say that you benefit from per se, because with you having all these placements, you know what I'm saying, Virgo placements, I'll just say Virgo placements and 12th house placements, it's an indication that you most definitely within your being do feel like a great need and necessity to feel of service and to feel useful, you know what I'm saying? And I'll just take a moment to touch on this. A lot of the time, because I'm a Virgo rising, so I get it. A lot of the times with us Virgo risings, we have this desire to want to be useful, you know what I'm saying? But then when we start getting used, we have an issue with it. But the problem with that is we tend to put ourselves in circumstances and situations where we can become used, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's a means of boundary setting, you know what I'm saying? Learning how to set boundaries and all that good stuff. And kind of reaffirming that I owe you energy, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, or you owe me energy, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, if you do something for someone, don't let them get away with thinking that, oh, this is just a person who's very resourceful, who whenever I need help, I can access and tap into, but I don't need to pour back into this person. But more so, make it very like, you know, clear as day, right? That after doing something for someone, you know, let them know, like, of course, I know you do the same for me when I need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let this person know that, let the people know that you eventually will need help as well, and you will hope to hope on them when the time is right. Because Virgo, right, plays out this energy of well put togetherness, right, perfection energy, right, which can play to our detriment because we pretend like everything is okay and everything is good, and we're like control freaks, you know what I'm saying, where it's like we want things to be our way to a detriment, you know what I'm saying, where it's like the energy that Virgos can learn from their opposite sign Pisces is to just let go and flow, you know what I'm saying? And that's the contradiction between Mercury and Jupiter, because they're polar opposites, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jupiter is God energy, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter is spirituality, Jupiter is faith, optimism, all of these good things. Whereas Mercury is intellect, rationality, labor, working, you know what I'm saying? Gaining through your own intellect and through your own reasoning abilities, you know what I'm saying? And to an extent, even through your own intuitive energies. Whereas Jupiter is more like just experiencing life and not being afraid to experience, you know what I'm saying? This is where the square between Virgo and Sagittarius happens. Sagittarius is all about experiencing and exploring, you know what I'm saying, and experimenting even. But then Virgo is all about controlling things, you know what I'm saying, making sure that things are good, you know what I'm saying, and cleansing and purifying things. So Virgo needs to learn from Pisces that it doesn't always have to be rooted and grounded in reality, you know what I'm saying? Like, things don't always have to be taken for face value, you know what I'm saying? Because one of Virgo's mantra is, I'll believe it when I see it, or I need to see it to believe it. But sometimes, you know, things are intangible, like we don't have the ability to see them. And also, if you're having Virgo in the 12th house, you know what I'm saying, the house of, because the 12th house is also a house that deals with like our sorrows, our baggage, our traumas, our, like, you know, PTSD energies, our mental health energies, you know what I'm saying? So the 12th house can be a very, very heavy house, right? It's commonly considered a karmic house. So I feel like with Virgo being in the 12th house, there can be this energy of feeling like having been burdened with a lot and feeling like you have to deal with it yourself, and not having the sight into the spiritual plane to see that you have all these guides, you know what I'm saying, and like angelic guides, you know what I'm saying, and angelic beings assisting you. So I feel like one thing to integrate here, especially with Virgo, because Virgo is a very practical sign, a sign that deals with step-by-step energies. I feel like you need to learn to gain practical spiritual practices, you know what I'm saying? And you need to start applying those practical spiritual practices. And healing is an important thing as well, needing to learn to heal. I feel like the Virgo energy alongside the Pisces energy, these can be the wounded healers, you know what I'm saying, who seek and aspire to fill other people's cups, but as they're doing this, their cups are continuously being drained, and they're not realizing that they have to replenish themselves. So it's like they get to a point where they're running on fumes, and then they get to a point where it's like there's no more fumes to run on, so their body is literally breaking itself apart to feed and give them energy. But then all of that is just continue. It's like self-sacrifice. It's like the best word to put it or say. Ooh, my bad. I hope you didn't hear that too loudly. Man. But anyways, yeah, you know, self-sacrifice, I feel like, is a very good way to put it. Now, the thing about the 12th house is this is a house that deals with the imagination, you know what I'm saying? It deals with the dream world, it deals with the astral plane, it deals with the spiritual world as well. And when people have energies in the 12th house, it's important for them to be conscientious of their spiritual company, you know what I'm saying? In the sense that, as I'm sure you're aware, you are multidimensional. You exist physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Technically, emotionally is like the spiritual manifestation of your being. Right? Mind, body, and soul, as they say. So it's not really 4, it's 3. And so it's important that if you haven't, for you to use your Virgo energies, which is all about analyzation, being analytical, and being observant, to tap in and observe the inner plane. You know what I'm saying? I would recommend, for instance, like you learning meditation, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, with you having that moon in Aries, I feel like you probably aren't a person who likes to just sit down and do nothing, and you probably have been maybe diagnosed with like ADHD or some shit, but you just have your moon in Aries, okay? And so like what I would recommend is finding some form of meditation that incorporates dancing and incorporates motion and movement, you know what I'm saying? But however it may be, I would feel like a good task for you to strive towards and want accomplishment in would be like learning to tune into your inner realm and analyze your, so I like astrology are things that will be very, very good for you, because astrology is one of those tools that will help you tap in. Psychology would be another nice tool for you. Learning neuro-linguistic programming, right? NLP. Yeah, and also I would also want to say this, because the thing about Virgo is associated with Mercury, right? And Mercury is your chart ruler. And if I'm not mistaken, you have Mercury in Libra. Yeah, you have Mercury in Libra in the first house. Okay, we're gonna talk all about that as well in a minute. So, yeah, with you having Mercury as your chart ruler, Mercury is like the magician, you know what I'm saying? Mercury, yeah, he is the magician. Enoch, I don't know if you're biblical, but Enoch, you know, is a book that was actually removed from the Bible, but Enoch is the archetype within the Bible that is correlated and deals with Mercury. And it deals with Mercury's more magical aspects and energies. So I bring that all up because, like, as I mentioned, the 12th house is the house of the spiritual, like just the spiritual plane in general, spiritual energies. It rules things like sleep, and it rules things like your spiritual body, you know, just spiritual energies in general. And the deeper you go into magic, the more you start to realize that the way that people attain such magical feats, you know what I'm saying, like teleportation, and like teleporting objects or manipulating objects, you know, with the mind, they do it through tapping into the astral plane and creating like etheric ligaments, you know what I'm saying, like making an etheric arm. Really it's not an astral arm, it's an etheric arm. Like really it's an etheric arm, you know what I'm saying? And through that etheric energy, like, but in their minds, right, like grabbing it, and then like you'll see, like I'm not that advanced yet, so I can't do it. I do it physically, but it's like me grabbing this with my etheric hand, and then boom. Hey, no, I'm actually recording a video. Yeah. Okay, yeah, but as I was saying, that's what it's all about, like tapping into the ethereal realm. And so one thing with this energy that I would also want to discuss with you is the energy of, how do I put this? The energy of Hercules. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, Hercules is within the constellation Virgo. You know what I'm saying? But the story as it's depicted by Disney is very wonderfully depicted, because they depict both the Virgo energy and the Pisces / 12th house energy. Hercules was taken away as a child, right, from his divine origins, and then he descended into the physical world, because like those little demonic things tried to make him immortal, but he didn't drink all of it, so he stayed somewhat mortal. And so disconnected from his origins. Also, Eve is associated with the Virgo energy. You know what I'm saying? Eve, Mary is also associated with the Virgo energy. You know what I'm saying? So these are all energies that I think you should definitely hold on. I'm gonna go downstairs just so I can focus better. Leos. Sorry, I'm gonna take you into the darkness real quick. Just momentarily. So, I'm in the darkness. Interesting. But yeah, so this can be very much an energy of like learning to find and realize your divinity through labor. And when I say labor, I don't just mean work. You know what I'm saying? I don't just mean working for somebody. I came down here where this is like a building that's halfway somewhat. The basement is still being constructed, if that makes sense. I'm in the gym now. It's interesting that this is where I was guided to go. Okay, so yeah, pretty much that's of importance. You know what I'm saying? Definitely of importance. Learning to understand and realize that every single thing that you go through in the physical world is meant to, and through your conscious application, can serve your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows where Hercules would have ended if he never went through his trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? In those stories, like, he earned his place in the heavens through going through the things that he went through. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the lesson that we need to extract from Hercules. The fact that through the trials and tribulations that we go through, we are benefited and exalted, you know what I'm saying, into our priesthood energies, or however you may want to put it. Now, I'm glad that you are a spirit, as you mentioned it, right? A spiritual truth seeker, you know what I'm saying? Because this is very, very important. And the image that I was trying to portray with what I was talking upon and talking about is this energy of taking your Virgo faculties, which deal with analyzation and discerning, and focusing them inwardly, shining light within the unconscious mind, because this is very much sun, because the sun is the light, right? The spotlight, the flashlight, however you may want to put it. Now, yeah, Virgo, one of the things I feel from my study into occult, spiritual astrology that I learned about Virgo, is Virgo kind of teaches us that no matter what you're going through, it can benefit the soul, you know what I'm saying? And I was just watching Gaia, you know what I'm saying, that channel. I was watching some sacred geometry, and the guy, he was talking about how in Egypt, his Egyptian friends, they speak upon the fallacy of modern day spirituality where people think things have to be smooth and you're doing good and you're being blessed, like God, like, you know what I'm saying, the divine forces are with you. But he explained how it's the opposite in reality, because when people are put through many trials and tribulations, this is a sign of like spirit respecting them, I guess you can even say, for lack of a better term, in the sense that spirit is willing to put them through those trials and tribulations, which are really initiations that are going to help them go even further and get even deeper, you know what I'm saying, into their energy. And with you having your moon in the 7th house, this is an indication that one of your trials and tribulations do play out through relationships, you know what I'm saying. And it's important that even if you do have certain responsibilities correlated to relationships, whether that be like children, and I feel like it may even play out in, I want to say, reverse. No, I don't think it'll play out in reverse, but I'll just throw this out there. It may even play out in reverse where someone may be needing to take care of you, and there may be this feeling of burden energy, of like feeling like a burden, but it's like, don't feel that way. Because realize that, literally like what I said earlier, every single thing that you go through can be utilized to benefit you, you know what I'm saying? And that's important to understand, most definitely. Now, I feel like with Virgo being in the 12th house, this is also like your sun being in Virgo in the 12th house. This is an energy of taking all those intangible energies, you know what I'm saying, like, you may have great beliefs and aspirations about yourself. Like you may, sorry, not really, because okay, this is what you were telling me, right? That when your friends look at you, they see this advanced person who's like this and the third and the fourth, but then you kind of sell yourself short. So this is probably an energy playing out where it's like, people may be able to see certain energies about you that are unconscious to you. And the way that you need to bring those energies out is through the Virgo energy, like through practically doing things to show yourself that, yes, this is me and this is what I could do. Not just talking about it or fantasizing about it, but going out and doing work, you know what I'm saying, doing things. Whether that be like maybe slowly but surely starting to render practical energies, because that's Virgo, practical advice or practical just labor and assistance that deals with spiritual things, you know what I'm saying. Whether that be, I don't know if you're a healer or if you're into healing, but that's one thing I would definitely recommend you tapping into and studying. I think also because the 12th house is the house that deals with the astral plane, possibly look into Reiki, you know what I'm saying, because Reiki is all about learning to heal people from a distance, but healing them through your tapping into the astral plane and working on their astral body with your astral body, because within the astral plane the rules are different, you know what I'm saying. Distance and time don't exist like they exist here. They don't really even exist. So poof, just by thinking about someone and having the faculties and like just the know-how to do so, you can transport yourself to where they are, you know what I'm saying, all those good things. I guess another thing I'll talk about with the 12th house energies is that, oof, it's 333 and it's 44. 3344. That's cool. That's cool. Good to know. Okay. It's important that you learn to bring channels, maybe through the work that you do, but whatever it may be, it's important that you learn channels of expression for your creative energy, you know what I'm saying, because the 12th house is a very imaginative house, you know what I'm saying, it's a very creative house. And these people, right, who have like 12th house energies, from my study and also my observation, they're the most fulfilled and they're the most satisfied when they have channels for their creative energies, right, when they can be creative. Like these can also be the depressive, if not applying that energy correctly, they can also fall into depressivenesses, you know what I'm saying. And these are also like the people that can fall into addictions of all kinds. As I started in the beginning, this is just the energy of self-imprisonment, you know what I'm saying. The cool thing about the 12th house is it deals with self-imprisonment and self-undoing, but simultaneously it deals with self-evolution and self-construction. When you think of the 12th house, you want to take into consideration Pisces energy, and then you want to remember that Pisces is depicted by two fish. You know what I'm saying? Typically depicted swimming opposite to each other. Pisces is like the yin and the yang energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about you and like which fish do you choose to synchronize and correlate with? Do you choose to correlate with the fish that's swimming up north? Or do you choose to correlate with the fish that's swimming down south? And I'll also say this, Neptune, you know what I'm saying? I just want to bring up Neptune in correlation to the 12th house. Neptune like rules the... Does it rule the astral body? Or the spiritual body? Yes, I'm pretty sure Neptune rules the astral body. So Neptune rules the astral body. The thing about our astral body is it is very sensitive, you know what I'm saying? In the sense that the astral body is the mental body. And although we have certain fixated thought structures within our astral body, this life and the plethora of experiences that we have that go on to influence our thoughts and emotions, or rather I should say that generate thoughts and emotions for us, those energies are altering and changing the astral body, you know what I'm saying? And this is an alteration and a changing that's coming primarily through the energies of the mind, right? And so it's important for you to realize and understand that when I was talking about the two fish, that through your imaginative faculties, that's how you tap into the fish swimming north or south, or the fish swimming north. You know what I'm saying? Through shifting your way of thinking into a more conducive, more constructive means. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that Pisces, well, not Pisces, Virgo. Both Pisces and Virgo, they're both feminine planet signs. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because Virgo is an earthly sign, you know what I'm saying? An earth sign. So it's feminine through the earth element. Pisces is feminine, but through the water element. So typically the thing with Virgos is they can be the skeptics, I think it is, the pessimists, rather I think is the word to use, the right word to use. And they may be inclined more towards negativity, you know what I'm saying? Because Virgo is analytical and is attentive to the details. And you know that saying, right? The devil is in the details. So it's important that you learn to realize that this physical material world is just the second coming. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that there's the first, which is the realm of being. You know what I'm saying? And this is your inner state, your being, you know, your vibration. You know what I'm saying? But then there's the realm of becoming, which is the physical world. Like everything in the physical world is a result of spiritual energetic patterns manifesting and expressing themselves physically. But the spiritual world, pardon my language, really ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing. It's irrelevant because everything is literally just coming from the a pattern in the energetic world. So it's typically a detriment, you know what I'm saying, for you to look around and dictate your inner state of being according to your external circumstances and situations. And one of the things I like to elaborate upon after saying that is like a lot of people will take this knowledge and be like, but like, you know, I'm still going through this and I'm still going through that and it is what it is. But it's like, what do you have to lose? Like when I think about it, you really have nothing to lose but an old pattern, you know what I'm saying? So why not really try it and give it a go? The energy of like redirecting your focus and attention and not giving too much focus into the physical world. I feel like that Virgo 12th house combination energy can really create for a negative pessimistic mind, you know what I'm saying, where it's like you're continuously analyzing and observing the details and being attentive to things, but it's like the way that you're doing it, it's constructing and creating this reality, this future that's not really conducive to you. So if this is the case, then why not choose today to start like creating a reality that is conducive to you by altering and changing the patterns that you send out into the world. And now this is not easy work. And by the way, this is a separate service that I offer and I teach as well. You know, I teach like mental alchemy, you know, constructive thinking, and esoteric psychology as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's where constructive thinking comes into play, and the realization and understanding of how to use pain and pleasure to create your reality. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple videos out that kind of go into detail about that. But yeah, for sure, that's what I would recommend for you. Learning to think more constructively, rather than allowing external circumstances and conditions to control your internal thinking. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the primary difference between Virgo and Gemini, because Virgo and Gemini are of the same cloth, meaning they're ruled by the same planet, Mercury. But Gemini is masculine sign. You know what I'm saying? It more so deals with assertive thoughts, right? So as a Gemini, because I'm a Gemini, I'm more inclined towards picking and thinking my own thoughts. Like Gemini is also it's a sign that belongs to the first emanation. What this means is that the Gemini energy is concerned with marching to the beat of its own drum. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't care about this or the third or the fourth. But then the Virgo energy, although having an ability to beat to to march to the beat of its own drum, it typically is marching because it was instructed or inspired by something outwardly, by an observation. You know what I'm saying? So Virgo, unlike Gemini, belongs to the second emanation. What this means is that this is an energy that kind of looks out into the world, takes inspiration from the world, and then being inspired decides what it's going to do. Whereas the energy of Gemini, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, these energies, first emanation energies, they don't really look out into the world. Like, you know, Aries is a good example of this. Aries is like, I'll just figure it out as I go. You know what I'm saying? I don't need your advice. I'll just figure it out as I go. But Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, these energies are more like inclined towards the energies of the outside. And you can kind of think of it like this: when Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer manifested, there were no examples of what it means to be fire. So they kind of just had to figure it out themselves. But then when Leo came, Aries was already there. So like Leo can kind of see Aries, just like Virgo can see Taurus, Libra can see Gemini, and Scorpio can see Cancer. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we'll just talk about those emanations, you know, because we don't need to go that deep. Because you don't really have placements and like third emanation signs. So that's like Capricorn, Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Pisces. You don't really have, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So yeah, it's important though, like, for you to kind of learn to balance that energy of second emanation, and realizing that you're analytical. Because it's funny, because Virgo's energy, it's like that. Their strengths and their weaknesses are like the same. Like, oh, Virgo is powerful because they're analytical and they're discerning, and then they can see into detail, and they're like service orientated, like they're giving. But then like their detriment is because they're too giving, because they're too analytical, because, you know what I'm saying? So it's like about learning to balance that energy. Learning to balance that energy for sure. But yeah, for sure. But that's what I would genuinely recommend. I would also recommend getting into the book Psycho-Cybernetics, getting into Bob Proctor's work as well, and learning Joe Dispenza's work, like investing maybe in a couple of his courses and learning like the Joe Dispenza techniques, you know what I'm saying, and learning to attain coherence between your brain and your heart. You know what I'm saying? Heart-brain coherency, which just means like ensuring that your brain and your heart are in the same space, because like the 12th house is very much a house of the heart. You know what I'm saying? It's like corazon, or like, yeah, it's I don't even know if that was the correct term to utilize, but anyways, yeah, like the heart. You know what I'm saying? Because 12th house is very much Venetian energy. You know what I'm saying? Venus, which is the planet of love and the planet of feelings. You know what I'm saying? The moon deals with emotions. Venus deals with good feelings, you know what I'm saying? Mars deals with negative, bad feelings. But okay. So with you having Mercury, right, in Libra as your chart ruler in the first house, it's interesting because it's somewhat of a, yeah, like a contradicting energy, because like you have your moon but it's not really completely contradicting though, because yeah, they kind of balance each other out because of the houses that they're in. You have your moon in Aries in the 7th house, which can be this energy of like being careful not to get too into those energies of doing something nice for someone else, but doing it because it makes you feel good, you know what I'm saying? Like when Aries is in the 7th house, this can be an energy of like a person who may from the and you know, take this as it applies, because I feel like this is not completely going to apply with you, but I'm going to explain it. You know, just isolating that placement can play out as an energy where it's like this person is doing things in a relationship, but they have like their own personal agenda, you know what I'm saying? And so they may do something for someone only so then they can talk about what they did for that person, type of energy, you know what I'm saying? So, but like they may not completely see this as a negative, you know what I'm saying, even though it can be a negative. And I feel like this is very much a Libra thing too, because it's not Aries that's doing this, right? Like that's associating itself with relationships and then gaining pride and like a confidence and assurance energy through the things that they do. This is more like 7th house Libra energy. So Libra can, like your Mercury Libra may do this more so, where it may find itself, but not even though, because you have Mercury in the 1st house. So with you having Mercury and Libra in the 1st house, this is energy of like a lot of the thoughts that you engage with and have and entertain deal with Libra things, deal with relationships, deal with balance, you know what I'm saying? And when I say balance, I like balancing some form of turbulence that may come as a result of some relationship energy, you know what I'm saying? In the sense that Libra may find themselves very considerate in thinking about other people in the plane of people pleasing and making sure that this person's okay, and being very not hesitant, but being very like distraught, I think is a better word, because they may feel like they overdid something negative and they need to like solve that problem. But it's like a lot of your thoughts that you're entertaining and thinking about deal with other people or situations and scenarios where that only came about because of that relationship that you are in or that you have, right? And then the 1st house is like thinking about relationships but in correlation with yourself and who you are. Like just to give a very simple example, right? We're supposed to do this reading on the 14th, and for some reason, I don't know what it is, I thought today was the 14th, but it's the 13th. So I messaged you asking if you were ready, and then you messaged me back like, oh, I was thinking about you and I was actually going to message you, you know what I'm saying? So you're already thinking about this business relationship that we have, you know what I'm saying? But it's like a lot of your thoughts are involved in the thinking of another person or the thinking of a relationship, but from the lens of how is this relationship going to benefit me. So it's like personally thinking about your standing in correlation to a relationship, you know what I'm saying? And if that doesn't make sense, I'll definitely be more than happy to clarify for you. But yeah, so Mercury and Libra, these are like very diplomatic people, you know what I'm saying? People that kind of know how to... Oh, is that mine? I'm sorry, I think that was my headphones. I just heard a huge bang. You know what I'm saying? These are people that can be good, like examples of Libra Mercury energy is like lawyers, you know, judges even. People that know how to speak on someone else's behalf. But also, I say judges because Libra is a very just sign that deals with balance and equilibrium. You know what I'm saying? Libra energy is like, we're in Libra season right now. We're almost out of Libra season, but we're in Libra season right now, right? when Libra comes about, this is when we attain equinox energy, you know what I'm saying? And when we attain equilibrium, right, I should say, and things start to balance. So this is an indication of like, you have this ability to see both the light and the dark within yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because it's in the first house. So Mercury in the first house, these are very personal people whose thoughts are very vitalized, I'll say, because vitalized, because the 12th, not the 12th house, the first house is an angular house. So it's like whatever planet is in the first house, it's kind of amplified, you know what I'm saying? This is an aspect that is considered a very prominent one, you know what I'm saying? And the way that Mercury gains its prominence is through your personality, like you just personally being a recognizable intellectual person, you know what I'm saying? Just being very intelligent and being like a good like relationship person, maybe someone who knows how to communicate with others, you know what I'm saying? Or yeah, I'll leave it at that. Someone who knows how to communicate well with others. And this is kind of reaffirmed with your Venus being in the 12th house and your Sun being in the 12th house as well. Because 12th house energies are the unconscious, behind the scenes energies. So this kind of bestows you this energy of like being able to pick up on your surrounding and like the energies of others. So you may be able to fulfill another person's need faster than anybody else, because you're just picking up on that energy and picking up on that emotion, picking up on that vibe, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, so Mercury in the first house, yeah, this can play out as an intellectual person for sure. Also a person who may enjoy talking about themselves. I'll give an example, right? Like when you were talking to me about how your friends think of you to be an advanced person even though you don't think you are, which is like your Sun 12th house, selling yourself short. But your Mercury Libra energy was like you talking about your friends, but then you talking about your friends in a means where you're talking about your friends and what they're saying about you, you know what I'm saying, which is the first house energy, if that makes sense. So yeah, you know, what you have in your Mercury in the first house, I would also recommend like just investing into your intellectual abilities, your knowledge, you know what I'm saying, your vocabulary, and your mental faculties and your mental energies. I feel like, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Mercury in the first house. Mercury in the first house. I think maybe also being conscientious and not talking too much about yourself, which may not be an issue completely because you have that moon in the 7th house balancing it out, which is like having an ability to create space for another person and even having an ability to sacrifice your own being for another person because of that 12th house energy. So I don't think that may be an issue, like talking too much about yourself to a point where it's like you may make a person feel like, yo, all this person wants to do is talk about them or talk about their experiences with their relationships, and it's like, yo, why don't you be in the present moment here with me and talk about, well, yeah, it can play out like that, sure it can, but I don't think it may, but you let me know. But I think, yeah, you know, that pretty much concludes like this session, this reading. Yeah, and let me know if you're interested in diving deeper, and we'll go deeper and deeper and deeper into other sessions, you know what I'm saying. I definitely went because with the promotion reading that I'm doing, you know, for $25, these promotional readings are like intermediate readings, you know what I'm saying, and they're usually around like 30 to 45 minutes, you know what I'm saying. This reading is almost an hour, which is definitely cool. But yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to hearing from you. Peace.